The truth is, the moment I walked into that Team USA gym, I already knew what everyone was thinking about me. Nobody had to say it out loud. I had heard it for months. I wasn't ready. I didn't belong. I wasn't chosen.
Caitlin Clark's Team USA debut detonated like a thunderclap across the basketball world. What happened next forced everyone to finally confront the reality they had been running from.
Connecticut, UConn, the winningest program in the history of women's college basketball with 11 titles. Iowa trying to get to it.
For months, debates had raged across social media, sports networks, and locker rooms about whether Clark truly belonged on Team USA at this moment. All of the noise evaporated the second the ball tipped because Clark did not come to prove a point. She came to take over. Within minutes, the tone of the entire game had changed. Team USA's offense began to flow through Clark's movement, spacing, and decision-making, and the ball zipped around the court with a speed and precision that overwhelmed the opposition. Her gravity created open lanes, wide open shots, and defensive breakdowns that piled up in rapid succession. It was no longer a question of whether she belonged. The only question left was how anyone ever thought she did not. Every bucket she hit felt like a statement. Every assist a reminder that she was playing chess while others were playing checkers.
Jasmine Carson, my goodness, it's wizardry. Alexis Morris trying to take LSU to the finish line. And Angel Reese knows a ring.
Now hold on and subscribe that button, and don't forget to hit like so you know what made the moment even more dramatic. It was the context surrounding her debut. In the weeks leading up to this game, conversations about Team USA roster selection had grown increasingly heated. Some analysts argued that Clark's popularity was driving decisions more than merit, while others insisted her college dominance and instant WNBA impact made her inclusion unavoidable. Social media became a battlefield, with fans and critics locked in constant debate. But once the game began, all of that background noise became irrelevant because Clark's performance spoke louder than any argument ever could. As the game progressed, Clark's confidence only continued to grow. She pulled up from distances that seemed almost disrespectful, or draining shots that left defenders shaking their heads in disbelief. Her handle carved through pressure, her footwork created space where none existed, and her court awareness turned chaos into opportunity. It was basketball at its highest level, performed with a calm intensity that suggested she had been preparing for this moment her entire life.
Final Four, and its second straight, in its third Final Four, trying to get to its second straight national championship game.
The opposing team tried multiple defensive schemes, switching defenders, trapping her at half court, and collapsing into the lane to clog passing angles, but nothing worked. Every adjustment only seemed to unlock another dimension of her game. Teammates fed off her energy, playing looser, faster, and more aggressively as her presence lifted the entire squad. Veterans who had once been considered automatic focal points now found themselves thriving in roles made easier by Clark's gravitational pull. Open shots became routine, cuts to the basket turned into layup lines, and fast breaks exploded into highlight reels. The synergy was undeniable, and it underscored a reality that many had been reluctant to accept. Caitlin Clark was not just another piece in the system, she was the system. The crowd responded accordingly, rising to their feet with every deep three, every impossible pass, and every fearless drive into traffic. As halftime approached, Clark's stat line already told a staggering story, but the numbers alone could not capture the magnitude of her influence. The pace of the game, the spacing of the floor, and the confidence of her teammates all revolved around her presence. Every possession seemed to bend toward her orbit, and every defensive scheme collapsed under the pressure she applied. The game no longer felt competitive, it felt inevitable. During the break, analysts scrambled to recalibrate their narratives. The same voices that had questioned her readiness now spoke of her poise, her maturity, and her basketball IQ. Clips of her highlights flooded timelines within minutes, igniting a wave of reactions from fans, former players, and current stars. Praise poured in, not just for her scoring, but for her leadership, her composure, and her ability to elevate everyone around her. The shift in tone was immediate and dramatic, as if an invisible switch had been flipped. The second half only amplified the spectacle. Clark returned with an even sharper edge, attacking mismatches, orchestrating fast breaks, and burying contested jumpers with a confidence that bordered on audacious. Her chemistry with teammates deepened, producing sequences of ball movement and off-ball motion that left defenders spinning in circles. Each possession felt choreographed, yet spontaneous, a perfect blend of preparation and instinct. The scoreboard climbed steadily, but it was the flow of the game that truly captivated, a relentless rhythm driven by Clark's presence. What made the performance even more striking was her composure under pressure. When opponents attempted to rough her up physically, she responded with finesse. When traps came, she found the open shooter. When defenders sagged, she punished them from deep. There was no panic, no hesitation, and no wasted motion. Everything she did carried purpose, precision, and poise. It was the kind of performance that silences critics not through bravado, but through undeniable excellence. By the time the final buzzer sounded, the result was no longer in question, but the implications of Clark's debut were only beginning to ripple outward. Social media erupted in celebration, debate, and disbelief as fans replayed her highlights and dissected every possession. Former legends praised her fearlessness, while younger players cited her as inspiration. As even skeptics were forced to concede that they had underestimated her readiness for this stage. The aftermath of the game sparked an entirely new conversation about the future of Team USA. With Clark now firmly established as a cornerstone, discussions shifted toward how the team would evolve around her skill set. Analysts speculated about lineup combinations, offensive schemes, and defensive adjustments designed to maximize her impact. Behind the scenes, I cite the ripple effects were just as significant. Ticket demand surged, merchandise sales spiked, and broadcast numbers soared, underscoring her immense commercial and cultural influence. Sponsors took notice, networks leaned in, and the league itself felt the gravitational pull of her popularity. But unlike fleeting viral sensations, Clark's rise was anchored in substance, built on skill, discipline, and an unshakable commitment to improvement. Her debut did not feel like a peak. It felt like a starting point. The broader impact on women's basketball could not be overstated. Clark's presence brought new eyes to the sport, drawing in casual viewers and first-time fans who had previously overlooked the women's game. Her highlights circulated far beyond traditional basketball circles, breaking into mainstream culture and sparking conversations in spaces that had rarely engaged with women's sports before. In doing so, she expanded the audience, amplified the platform, and elevated the entire ecosystem. Critics who once questioned whether her style would translate at higher levels now faced an uncomfortable reality. Not only had it translated, but it had thrived. Her shooting range stretched defenses to their breaking point. Her passing unlocked new dimensions of offense, and her competitive fire ignited teammates. The very elements that skeptics claimed would be liabilities became her greatest strengths, reshaping how the game was played around her. And as the dust settled, one truth became impossible to deny. Caitlin Clark had arrived, and the sport would never be the same. Her Team USA debut did more than silence doubts. It redefined expectations. It challenged long-held assumptions about readiness, hierarchy, and tradition, proving that excellence demands recognition regardless of age, experience, or precedent. In one explosive performance, she shattered barriers, rewrote narratives, and claimed her place among the elite. So the journey ahead promises even greater drama, higher stakes, and fiercer competition. But if her debut offered any indication, Clark is more than ready for whatever comes next. And if this was only her beginning, how unstoppable will Caitlin Clark become when the real pressure hits? Let us know your views in the comments below.